Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We are going to go ahead and get started on time. Thank you all for showing up early or on time. I really appreciate it. I want to respect your time today, and we've got about an hour to go through quite a bit of information. We're not going to be able to touch, of course, on all of the new features in Dynamics CRM 2015, but we're definitely going to try and get some of the highlights. Also, as part of this presentation, you'll see we've got some web links to where you can find more information, some blog posts, and we'll provide those to you at the end. We're also going to provide you with a copy of this in PDF form so that you've got all the information that you need for following up and finding out if you've got any more questions for us. So let's get started. My name is Ken Farmer. I am President and Principal Consultant for XRM Cubed. Most of you know me. I think I've chatted with most of you or met most of you in person at some point. If not, welcome. The faster we grow, the more we grow, the less time, unfortunately, I have to spend with each and every one of you. But I'm doing what I can, trying to get out there and see as many of you as I possibly can. So today we're focused on Dynamics CRM 2015. As you know, we have there's been some release. You've got all of your information that you've gotten from Microsoft. You should have gotten your email notifications. For those of you who are ready to upgrade, you should have your upgrade dates. If you've changed them or need help changing them, please let us know, and just drop a line to support@xrmcube.com, and one of the team will help you reschedule your upgrade if you need to. We are a Microsoft certified partner, so I think it's an unwritten rule that we have to use PowerPoint at some point in time. If we don't use it at least once a week, I think we lose our key to the club. But the good thing is I've only got a few slides, and we'll blow through them really quick. This Who Are We slide, obviously you know who we are. You are all customers of ours, and we greatly appreciate that. This is something that we want to be able to provide services to you around information, not just break fix or take care of certain implementation tasks for you, but we want to be that trusted advisor, and we want to make sure that you're getting all the information that you need to make the right decisions about your CRM. The one thing I'd point out on this slide, that there's two URLs at the bottom, xrmcube.com, obviously, which is our main site, which was just re-released. So it's all brand new. And then we have our CRM AdminAssist site down below that. We have pretty much transitioned the bulk of our ongoing maintenance and support, as well as providing a couple of new programs that you can subscribe to that have unlimited support, as well as a lot of proactive things that we'll do for your system for a fixed fee. I don't believe anybody on this call is part of the CRM Admin Assist program, but that website is open. That's where all of our tips and tricks blog posts are located. Please feel free to check it out. If you would like any more information about our CRM Admin Assist program, please let myself know, or Mark. Mark is our VP of Sales, and his email is mark@xrmcube.com. Real original. All right, so let's talk about today. Today's agenda is, I want to take you right out of these PowerPoints here, hopefully in the next slide or two, and we're going to talk specifically in the demo environment about some of these new key features. One of the most exciting things about this release, and as most of you probably know, Microsoft with their Dynamics CRM product is on a twice yearly release schedule. So they're really focusing on bringing additional features and functionality to you as fast as they can. So instead of every 3 years there being this big, enormous upgrade cycle and challenges for everybody, they bring this in incremental pieces. The next release is actually scheduled for late this spring, early this summer. But most of these releases are going to be pretty minimally invasive. This one has some key pieces to it that do warrant the change from the Dynamics CRM 2013 to the 2015 moniker. But for the most, I think what's most important for most of your users is they're not going to notice really any change. As we all know, users can freak out at the drop of a hat or drop of a cell phone using today's nomenclature, but they're not going to find a lot of changes that are going to, as they log in, look at it and freak out and start calling their administrator. What they are going to find are a couple of key features, especially in the command bar, that are going to make their lives a lot easier, and we'll talk about those today. We're kind of going to go through what I'm calling the full list, but it's really just the user interface type stuff. There's a lot of changes that have been made in the background around syncing compressions and algorithms and database schema changes, and none of that is part of this. If you really are interested in that information, let me know. We can certainly provide it to you. But the biggest thing for, I think, everybody on the phone really is that your application is growing, continuing to add features without additional costs, without a lot of license changes and everything else. There are new options that you can certainly bring in as you need them. And if you haven't yet and you would like to, when we get done with this, shoot me an email. We'll certainly schedule a session and go through it. So what we're going to talk about today really is the global search, the new global search piece, a little bit more, some changes and some improvements to the quick create, the new hierarchical display for parent-child type relationships, conditional branching and guided process, and then we're going to kind of go through a couple of administrator screens, just show you some of the key things there, and then of course we'll provide you with the links at the end. So this is from Microsoft. You'll see the URL there at the bottom. This is their What's New page, and I just sort of pulled some of the key headlines off of that. There are quite a few improvements under the product selling piece. I don't think many of you can take advantage of that today. And of course, when you integrate with another ERP system, it's a little different because you're relying on that ERP system for functionality. But Microsoft has quite a bit of things that they're proud of in this release, and considering that I've been working with this product since beta version 1 back in 2002, I'm just unbelievably excited with every new version that they're releasing. 2013 was a huge step forward 2 years ago. I think 2015 is the natural progression of that, and they fix a couple things that might have been quirky in 2013, and of course adding some additional features, and we'll kind of go through those today. You'll have this list, you'll have the URL. I'll send this to you so you don't have to write it down or screenshot it, but we all work differently, so please feel free to do what you need to do to grab it. All right, so I'm not a huge PowerPoint fan, so let's jump right out of this and let's go to CRM itself. All right, so hopefully everybody can see this okay. I've got a second computer logged in so I can kind of see and make sure that nobody's seeing any weird screens. And but this is CRM. Obviously, it looks familiar to you. Those of you who have been using 2013, have been on CRM Online now for quite some time. This is your current version. So the command bar that was introduced back in 2013, some of the pieces and parts and the functionality in the navigation, for instance, you hover over this, you get your next areas, you hit sales, you get that piece, and of course you can navigate through, you can look at accounts, you can click on that and get your recently viewed. All of that is the same. This is what your users should be used to seeing right now. They shouldn't really be, when they log in the next morning after your upgrade, they shouldn't really be seeing anything different, and they won't be freaking out. Very little has changed that's visible to them on the surface, what they're first looking at. But what has changed, and what we're going to talk about here, is in the command bar. You've got a couple of additional pieces here on the right-hand side. The first is this new search box, and this is their global search. So one of the challenges, and something that we've heard people asking for quite often over the last 4 or 5 years, has been the ability to do cross-entity search, meaning they want to enter in one phrase and they want to look at accounts and contacts and leads and opportunities to get the results back from that. Surprisingly, back in 2013, in the 2013 version, when they first released the mobile tablet client, surprise, surprise, there was a global search function in that tablet. and of course everybody's been clamoring for it on the web, and this is the same functionality that you got on the tablet in the last version. You now have the ability to use directly from the command bar. So let's go ahead and say we're looking for, I know that I've got an account in here that has winery in it, winery in the name. So I want to search for that. The wildcard works just as you would expect it to. So when you were using the quick search before, it was very contextual. You'd have to go to the account section and then type in what you were looking for, or the contact section, and you would get a list that was just that entity that was contextual to where you were. Now you have the ability to go ahead and type that in, and you're going to get a cross-entity result set that brings back everything that's tied to it. So I typed in winery, and I get back our account that I was looking for, Coho Winery, and then I also get the contacts from Coho Winery that are here, as well as some of the lead records that have been linked to Coho Winery, and an opportunity that we've got out here. So all of a sudden, I've got the ability to very quickly, from wherever I am in the application, go ahead and do a cross-entity search. Fantastic. That gives us a lot of great efficiencies that we didn't have before, that perhaps we had been recommending, and all partners had been recommending some third-party solutions to bring in. In one case, we built a dashboard page for a client that did some specific searching for them. None of that on the surface is really necessary anymore. Now, depending upon your data set, you could see when I typed that in, that was a very quick result return. But it really is going to depend on your data set. And there's some tuning that can be done in the background, of course, when you do it from a configuration standpoint. So those of you who have heard me talk about basically how we look at CRM from the out-of-the-box function, next level would be configuration of that out-of-the-box, which is just using the tool sets and doing what you need to do in the interface without any special programming or anything else. The next third level would be actual customization, where we may be building some new plugins and still kind of working within their data set and their tool sets, but then we have to kind of build a little bit of code, and then of course the fourth is full-blown programming for some very specific gaps that may exist in your process. So this is the best part about this is presented to you from a configuration out-of-the-box type standpoint. You have the ability to go in, and I'll show you where later when we're looking at some of the administrator functions, but you'll have the ability to go in and really look at how to add different entities to this. So a question that we get is, we've got some custom entities. Can we add these custom entities to this and have it search across those custom entities? The answer, of course, is yes. We do want to work with you and at least have a conversation around not overextending, because each entity, of course, that you add to the search, you take a little bit of a performance hit, because instead of just searching 5,000 accounts and 20,000 contacts, you're also searching however many leads and however many opportunities, and then, of course, what other entities that you're adding to it to produce the result set. So you can also filter what you've got here on the screen. So I'll get off my soapbox about best practices there. I'll move on. So you can really filter down, and these are the entities that are configured out of the box for cross-entity search. And as you would expect, the top ones, right? Account, contact, lead, opportunity, and then some competitor is included in their activities, and then, of course, cases. So you really can get a full range of what you're looking for here. And you can actually just click on that record, of course, click on that tile, and it's going to pull up the account record for you so that you don't have to have, say, hey, I've got a great result set, but now I've got to go somewhere else to get my information. It's going to be here, it's going to be presented to you, and you're going to be working as efficiently as possible. So while we're in this account section, I want to show you a couple of other things with searching. So obviously I did a search on winery. I used the wildcard, which is great. But let's say I'm here now, but I'm getting a phone call, or somebody says from the front desk, hey, there's a cat on the phone for you, a person but with the name of Cat. I need to kind of get an idea perhaps of who that's going to be. So no matter where I am, I can go up to the global search type in what I need, and it's now going to produce a different list for me, and that's going to be with all of the different people or records that have cat, beginning with cat, because I didn't use the asterisk at the beginning. So again, you can see it works just like you would expect in say your advanced find or any of the other search type tools, but this one just happens to be cross-entity. Okay, and then you'll see now here that we already have accounts, contacts, and leads because there were no opportunities really that fit that criteria. I can also look, say, on for a phrase like computer, and I happen to know that these are all based against opportunities that I have. There's no accounts without obviously an asterisk and some wildcards that are going to produce that result. So you're really just going to be presented with the result that you're looking for. Okay, and then let's talk a little bit about as we're looking at we'll go back and we'll look at these accounts real quick. There is a active account. Let me grab that Coho Winery one again. You can see I kind of headed off on a tangent there, so let me get back to where I was. So we talked a little bit about the quick create. Now, I think you're all probably familiar, or you hopefully are familiar with the quick create. It is a lot more functional than it was in 2011. In 2013, they made some great improvements to it. We can go in from anywhere from the command bar, click create, and see that we've got accounts, cases, competitors. We can do this. This is configurable how you want it. For instance, in our own personal, our own corporate CRM, we have this completely configured differently because we do things like we're managing projects, we're doing all of our time entry, we're doing all of our stuff to generate your invoices, for instance, based out of CRM. So we've got some additional pieces and parts that we put up here. So that's all great, but this is all pretty generic. So if I, for instance, went and clicked on new contact, it's going to go ahead and give me a blank contact form. So even though I was in this account record, there's no linking, there's none of the benefits of it's already linked to the company, it's got some of the company address information in there when you just do it straight from there. Back in when 2013 was released and they were working on the quick create, they added this additional piece down here with a lot of the forms. So you've got a contact list and you can go in and add a contact. And at first it was a little bit it was great to have it, but it didn't work exactly as you would hope and expect. Now all of that has been fixed throughout. There's a consistent methodology throughout. So now if I'm in an account record and I click on the plus sign at the contact level, it's going to go ahead and pull up that quick create. It's going to link it appropriately to the company name, give me the appropriate information. I can then go ahead and add in my my contact information. He's the COO, and it's fred@line.com. I'm going to just say, all right. I go ahead and click save, and it comes back, and then you've got it built up. So it's a little bit more contextual. It works much more as you would expect it to throughout. The quick create is linked more efficiently to a lot of the different pieces and parts. All right. Also on here, I want to point out before we move off of this that we have this other new icon here to the right of the global search, and that is now Advanced Find. So before, you used to find Advanced Find here in the menu bar, and depending upon what entity you were in and what other things were on the menu bar, because it only held so many things, you may have to hit the ellipses, and it might have been down here on the side. So you never were quite sure where it was unless you went through and you put it at the beginning on every single one. So what Microsoft has done is they've recognized and they listened to the concerns of their users, and they've moved it now right directly into the command bar. So you just go ahead and click it, and it brings up the same familiar dialog that you're looking for, the web dialog, and it stays contextual. So if you'll remember, in your systems today, you can go to an account section or a contact list or whatever the case may be, pull up Advanced Find, and it's going to have the accounts in the account section, the contacts in the contact section. That still applies even though it's here up in the command bar, so wherever you are, it starts there. Obviously, you can always change it, go to contacts instead, grab one of your other views that you're going to look for, and then you can go ahead and run your advanced find there. Okay, so advanced find basically works the same. There's no real heavy improvements on the interface. A little bit better functioning in the background, but that's neither here nor there. There also you'll find on some of the fields there will be additional ways to search, additional qualifiers that you can use, but we won't go into those today, but you'll find those very, very helpful as you're starting to build better and deeper and more efficient queries. All right. So let's go to the next point. So let's go and we're going to use accounts as an example. So we just go to the account section, sales accounts, marketing accounts, really doesn't matter which. But we go to accounts and we grab a view that makes sense to us. In this case, we're going to use the active accounts. And you'll see that we have a new sort of hidden column that only presents itself when you actually have something to show, and it's got a new icon to it. This icon shows you the hierarchy of your records in this regard, and it will show you the parent-child relationship. So again, Microsoft, right? So you can hover over it, and it's going to show you the different pieces and parts, give you a tooltip. So in this case, view the hierarchy of this record, and it's parent-child records too. So we've got a couple here that I've just built some quick relationships to. I'm going to look at this one, Tailspin Toys, and I'm just going to click on the icon. And what's going to load up is a graphical representation of the hierarchy that you've built for this. So very simple, very easy, and I'll show you where in just one second. But in this case, Tailspin Toys has a parent account. That parent account is Northwind Traders. So you can start thinking about all the different ways that you can use this, and it's not constricted just to accounts. It can also be any of the relationships, the parent-child type relationships, and I say type because it doesn't have to be called parent-child. These are relationships, a one-to-many kind of relationship where you've got a parent record of some kind with records down below. So in this case, I've clicked on Tailspin Toys, and you'll see that it's related to Northwind Traders. And what's displayed here is configurable. You obviously don't want to go too crazy. There is a limit. I think it's 6 items, perhaps 7 items that you can show on these cards. But what you get is something that hopefully is going to make sense to you. So think about it in terms of an org chart. You can certainly use this same functionality for building an org chart of your customers. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see the full relationship that's linked here. We actually see Tailspin Toys here as a child of Northwind Traders, but hopefully you can see these little dotted lines in your session. The worldwide importers, or excuse me, the wide world importers, I do that every time, the wide world importers account is actually at the top level, and there's a couple of different records below it. So when you think about the parent-child, wide world importers will be at the top level. Then you've got Northwind, and there's a sub-level even on Northwind. So you see it here in the list on the left. You also can see it in your representation. So you see this little arrow here. It says click here to see the current records parent. So by clicking that, it's going to start pulling in that full list for you so that you can start seeing how it's represented, with Northwind and School of Fine Art being the child records of wide world importers, and Tailspin even being a child of Northwind. As many levels as you can build, it will display. Obviously, form factor of what you're viewing it on is going to be dependent upon what you can see at any given point in time. It will scale a bit as you need it, but at some point you're going to run out of screen real estate if you're going 127 levels deep. So the key part of this is that it's not just at the account level. I use it here because it really is, I think, an easy thing to understand, the parent-child relationship there. You've got, obviously, with contact records, you can do the same thing. With cases, you can do the same thing, where there's you get a support case or service case that comes in that actually is there's a Think about it as like a bug fix where you've got a main case that controls a bunch of sub-cases that are, other items that have to be dealt with against it, so it all rolls up. That whole function, that whole concept of rolling up data has existed in CRM for a while, in Dynamic CRM for quite some time, but they're now expanding on that a little bit here with the hierarchical relationships. You also have in 2015 the new concept of roll-up fields. And there's too much to go into on that today, but the basic thought there is that you've got an account record and you've got sub-records linked to that. Let's say it's opportunities. Let's say it's products. Let's say it's whatever else. You want a sum total of those displayed at the account level. That's what roll-up fields are going to do for you. So a lot of that is just, again, configuration, not necessarily customization, or obviously programming, which is what we had to do in the past. All right. So hopefully this makes a little bit more sense. You can see the different relationships that can be built. So we can now, from here, we can open up any one of these records, of course, as you would expect. Everything in CRM is drillable. So we've just by clicking on that, it's going to pull up the School of Fine Art piece here. Okay. All right. One thing while we're on this page that I want to show you real quick is this posts area. Some of our customers have found this to be very, very helpful from a collaborative type standpoint. And the whole roll-up methodology exists here as well. So if we go here and we look, and Spencer, which is the account that I'm logged in as, Spencer has a little picture on his account, so that's why it shows up here as well. And this is a post from Spencer. And now this can be a manual post, one that he goes in and types something here. This is great news. And it starts pulling it in here. Or it can be an auto post, which is what these are down here, that basically something took place in the system. A new record was created. In this case, an opportunity record was created against the School of Fine Art, which is where we are. So this is contextual, being at the account level. This is the account was created, the opportunity was created, and then we've got some posts. The ability to use this as a collaborative tool is great. And a couple of examples of this really happened, can be shown in your sales team with other people within your organization that are completing tasks or doing things or updating records or interacting with that account. And that salesperson in the field wants to kind of see what's been going on for that account before they go in. So they can go here, they can see any notes, any activities that perhaps have, or any opportunities or cases, whatever would be here. They could also see a list of activities perhaps, which we don't have any on this demo account here. But it gives them the ability to get a better view of what's going on. Now this is at the account level. So if you remember, we'll go back here, we'll grab dashboards. And this is our basic sales activity dashboard that you saw at the beginning, of course, a default dashboard. We've got some great things going on here, opportunities, clients, we've got activities. We also have the activity dashboards that are social. So when you look at this social dashboard, you've got some of the same features and pieces that you can add in here, your sales pipeline, but you also have this what's new section, okay? So anything that Spencer is linked to, he's going to get, because this is contextual to him at this level, and everything's going to roll up. So instead of him having to go in and looking at all of the records and all of the opportunities and go to the accounts section, go to the activity section, he can, if it's configured correctly, he can now see a list of all the things that are going on that he probably should be aware of, listed right here on his dashboard. He can respond to them from here. He can add to this from here. So as you're collaborating internally on accounts, contacts, whatever, instead of having to always send emails, which frankly can be a little bit tiring, trying to keep up with emails. I don't know about you folks, but I really push hard to try and Inbox 0 is the phrase that everybody uses, and that's, a pipe dream, I think, realistically. But, trying to manage your inbox down to a level where it's actually stuff that needs to be taken care of. But you don't need email notifications about every little piece of part that you've got. Sometimes it makes sense, absolutely. But in other times, you can use some of the collaborative tools that exist in your systems to reduce the email load while increasing the collaborative environment. Okay, again, off my soapbox, I apologize. But anyway, that's where that comes in, is being able to look at the social aspect of this. And obviously, this is a demo environment. Ours is configured a little differently. Some of you have just removed it completely. You don't feel that it's at least effective, or that you can, in some cases, you just can't get your users to do it. So that's where it really comes into play, is if your users are bought into this methodology, it works out great. But if you've got only 1 or 2 people doing it, it can be, there's going to be some gaps between the communication that needs to be happening between your teams. Okay. Off my soapbox, what's next? Administrator improvements. Perfect. So let's go into sales. Obviously, we've got sales, service, marketing, and setting. I'm going to go back into the settings area because I am an administrator, logged in as an administrator. And I'm going to go to the administration section, and I'm going to look at system settings. Now, this is not an area where administrators need to go every day. This is an area where you can go to do some global configurations. And if you aren't familiar with this area, you've never seen this area, then look away, because we certainly don't want you to get too much information that you shouldn't have, I guess is the best way to put it. But basically, in system settings, if you haven't used it before, you've got the ability to go in and set some specific global settings, as you would expect, for the entire system and all your users. This can include, when you're looking at the name, sometimes, people want to look at the name from a last name, comma, first name standpoint, those kinds of things. So that hasn't changed. But there's some additional pieces in here now that allow you to really configure your system efficiently. The first one we talked about today was the quick find, or the global search. We call it global search. I think most people do. Microsoft calls it the quick find. So you can limit the amount of records that it's going to return. This is good for performance improvements. If you've got an enormous data set, it's almost like Google, right? You're going to do a Google search. You don't want 5,227 responses. You want to just see the top, however many. So it's going to give you better performance, and it's just going to return what you need to see. Now, you can turn that off if you choose to. Just be aware that there will be, with large data sets, probably a bit of a performance hit. Okay? You can also then go in and configure the different entities that are going to be included in here. Very simple, very easy interface. Say, hey, we're going to include account, contact, lead opportunity, user. Yeah, this is what's out of the box. And you saw that in that filter list that we looked at previously, right? So let's go back to our search where we had cat. That's this here. So it's going to give you what you want to filter down to, and that's where that list is coming up from, is that configuration piece right here. And you can add and subtract as needed. I may not want competitors in here. Move that over. If you don't want it, it's a good idea to move it anyway, even if you're not using it, because it just won't use that, because it still has to query it, even though there may not be any data there, or you may have 2 or 3 records that you never want that returned. Just go ahead and remove it. It may be milliseconds, but when all your users are using it, it kind of starts adding up after a while. And then you're going to find all of your entities here on the left that you can add over as you need to. I do caution you to use this efficiently. Just because something can happen in CRM doesn't always mean it should. So yes, you can add quite a few entities to your selected entities list. I wouldn't recommend it. again, because you're dealing with performance hit and you want to try and make it as efficient for your users as possible. That's the key in everything. If your users think it's a great feature, it works really well and really fast for them, they're going to use it, they're going to love it. But if not, they won't. And they may even complain about it. Okay, so you saw that we had, obviously with 2013, I believe, was introduced the maps on the forms. You can either turn those off or on here. That's not any different. Your telephony provider obviously is not different either. That's all the same. But now we get into some additional new pieces down below. And we're still in the general setting here. We're not going to touch on all these by any stretch, but we're just going to hit a few. So CRM for tablets. If you've got an environment where your people are using tablets in the field, you want them to use the app, that's great. This is kind of where you start controlling that, hey, see the app. So if they're on a tablet, open the browser, get to CRM, the system recognizes that it's a tablet, it's going to give them a message, hey, would you like to download the app? That's what this does. You also have the ability now to put some custom help in here. So you can create your own custom help files. If you've got a highly customized process and you need to do a help page for that, here you go. You can go ahead and add it in here. You can publish it somewhere, a SPX page, wherever you need to. There's a lot of different things that you can do there. We've got the ability to add in the social engagement piece, so that's a whole 5-hour session all by itself. And then finally here at the bottom, and this may sound funny for those of you who really don't pay attention to it, but with 2013 they introduced the tour at the beginning, right? So when you first logged into 2013 on any computer, this was computer-centric, not user-centric, you would get the big message in the front, the nice colorful picture with the woman on it that says, hey, take the tour, blah, 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 blah. And you click no, or you do the tour, whatever. You go to a new computer, or your computer cache was cleared, you'd get that box again. There was no way to turn it off globally. That's what this does. So you have the ability to turn that message off for your users globally in one place. They don't have to worry about it. It's a little thing, but users will find anything they can to complain about, and that was a small thing, but they had lots to say about it. So now you can turn it off in 2015 globally. Okay. Some of this other pieces, the pieces and parts, you've got a little bit of information here regarding Outlook that you can configure in terms of your whether they get the CRM for Outlook option is huge. So for instance, if you've got users that are only using the web and you don't want them installing the plugin in their Outlook, then you can remove that altogether from here. Reporting goals, that's all pretty much the same. Service, back in the 2013 version, Microsoft started introducing the concept of improved service management and setting up SLAs, setting up some rules and guidelines around those SLAs. And this is where you start beginning to build some of that information, and I'll show you that in just 1 second in another area. But if you haven't looked at the new service management capabilities that were starting to be introduced in 2013 and now are even further refined and you're provided with deeper functionality in 2015, I encourage you to look at that. If you have a customer service component of any kind that you need to manage, you already own CRM. You're already subscribed to it. You're already the functions are sitting there waiting for you to use them. And your data is there, your customer data, your contact data, all of that is there as well. So I encourage you to look at that. If you've got any questions, please feel free to contact us on this. We'd love to take you through it. Just shoot an email to support@xrmcubed.com is usually the best way. If you email me directly, I will get back to you, but it may take a while. Just full disclosure. And then lastly, we talk about synchronization a little bit. There's some additional granular levels of synchronization that we can now do at a global setting. level, for instance, we can even add additional fields that get synced back and forth between your Outlook and your CRM. So if you've got some specific fields, for instance, that you added to a task, let's say in CRM, because you're doing a great job of managing tasks, they get auto-generated or whatever the case may be in CRM, some of those fields that you created in CRM never had an opportunity to get back to Outlook. So when somebody would look at that task, for instance, in Outlook, they wouldn't see those new fields and functionality. Now, in many cases, you can take those and allow those to flow to your Outlook to make using tasks, appointments, and such a little bit more efficient when you're doing it in Outlook and your people are actually using it, and you want that data to flow back into CRM. Then, of course, your offline filters, appointment attachments. This is one that we find users set a meeting and then they attach a bunch of meeting items. That's great for Outlook, but you may not want those in your CRM because it takes up data space, obviously. So you have the ability to turn that on or turn that off. So again, just some nice items here. Addresses, additional addresses being synced, I think is huge because oftentimes we have multiple addresses for a contact in CRM, but only one of those was getting pushed to the contact in Outlook. So it gives us the ability to control that a little bit better. Tons of stuff here. As an administrator, it's really starting to make your life easier. As long as you understand the gotchas, and that's what we're really here to help you with. One more thing under settings that I did want to show you, we talked about the service management piece, and this tile here was introduced back in 2013, in the 2013 version, but it's really been substantially added to through 2013 releases and now here with 2015. It used to be just really this bottom section. You can see the icon differences between these nice, colorful little cartoony ones versus these flatter, gray-looking ones. Those are from the legacy system. You can see the colored ones are from CRM 2011, CRM 4.0, even in some cases to CRM 3.0. But now you've got service-level agreements. You've got a schedule that you can put in place. You can configure your settings a little bit different, and you can set entitlements for the SLAs for customers, and you really can get very, very granular with it. In addition to doing it at a service level agreement level, I guess, you also got the ability to easily use queues. So queues in CRM are defined as a bucket of information. Comes from somewhere that you have in a queue for one person or a group of people to look at and deal with, and you can route it from queue to queue. An easy example here would be our support email, support@xrmcube.com. You send an email to support@xrmcube.com. It hits our Exchange server. It then goes to CRM and sits in our support queue. And we have it set up so that a case gets created automatically in our system and gets assigned to somebody, and then somebody contacts you and deals with it. So just from the simple fact of somebody being able to send you an email and having a case created for that automatically is huge. You used to have a third-party piece to do that. That's one way of using queues. Another way is to set it for approvals. So we have the ability to look at approvals in a way that makes sense for different processes that you may need somebody to approve and somebody else not to approve. And let me give you an example on that. So I'm going to go back to sales, and I'm going to pull up opportunities. And I want to take a look at the sales process. So one of the new pieces in CRM, and this is the last one that we'll talk about, has to do with, let's just grab this one, has to do with our ability to use conditional branching in our guided processes now, okay? And again, this is actually a topic that we can spend 2, 3, 4, 5 hours on, but I'm going to give you a very quick and easy example using a sales process. So here at the opportunity level, we have a 4-stage process. So our basic process for this demo environment is 4 stages: qualify, develop, propose, and close. Simple, and you can see that when we're here at the qualify stage, here's all the items that we're working on. I can look at the next items that are coming up here at the develop, and the next section that I can look at here under propose. So I want to point out that as we're looking at this process, we have the ability in our sales process to say we want to apply a discount to an order or to a customer of X%. And we've given the sales guys a little bit of flexibility, and they can actually provide at their discretion up to a 10%. And I'm not talking about XRMQ, by the way. I'm talking about my demo environment, just so we're straight on that. But we've allowed the sales guys in our demo environment to provide up to a 10% discount themselves. No approvals necessary. They use it as they see fit. But anything above 10%, we want some sort of approval process internally. Somebody else has to approve it, whether it's somebody in accounting for pricing or somebody, the sales manager, whatever the case may be. So what we've done here is we've added a what's called conditional branching into our sales process. So if we were to say, I'm going to offer a 15% discount to this client because I think their volume is going to warrant it, and I tab off, you're going to look, as soon as I tab off of this field, our process is going to change. And now we have a 5-stage process, and we've added in this price execution stage. So because that we've added this 15% discount, they now have to go through an approval process because it was over 10%, which, that's the line that we provided here. So now it's required, has it been approved, yes or no, and then who approves it. Back to what I was talking about with queues. While it's not set up that way in this demo system, we could then shoot a task into an approval queue for somebody specific to deal with. And then we could go to the queue, we could see all the ones that were sitting there waiting for approval. Once they're approved, they're moved out of the queue, and we can completely configure that approval process. All right? So it's pretty slick. We weren't able to do this before. We could do some heavy programming before to make it happen, but it wasn't as easy as what I'm about ready to show you. So let's go up here, and we're still in the opportunity form, but I have the ability to go in here as a user, a sales manager. I can switch the process, or we can switch it automatically. Let's say it was a wholesale versus retail type process, or gold level customer versus just a standard customer. We can have different processes for them. In this case, we're going to look at this specific process where we have the branching. So just by clicking on edit that process, it's going to pull up the process tool for our business process flow, and this is the opportunity sales process that we're running. And you'll see here our different stages. So in the first stage, qualify, here's all the fields that we want and the things that, the values that they're going to need to put in, and we can make certain ones required. So they can't move out of that stage until these things are filled out appropriately. We have a new piece down here called Add Branch. So if we scroll down, here's this proposed stage where we have this discount, right? So now we've added a branch here that says if opportunity discount is greater than 10, because that's our target, insert this stage. So now there's a new stage, and it's related to the process, the approval process that we talked about, right? And you can see that, is the discount approved, yes or no? This is required. This probably also here should be required as well, because you want the approver's name in there, and you want that linked appropriately. You can also do things like setting it so only the approver can actually change that. That's, again, like I said, this is a 4-hour session all by itself, just in terms of branching and how we can do this. And this is a perfect example of when I talked about how we like to implement out of the box and do configuration. This is configuration. This is what I'm talking about. We use the tools provided. It's easy for us not only to use them, but to teach you how to use them and how to manage them moving forward. So this one piece here, and the conditional branching that I'm talking about is not just here. It's in some other areas too, around business process flows, workflows. There's some other things that we can do there that, again, now allow us to do it through configuration and the tools provided instead of customization or programming or anything else. Okay? Go ahead and leave it. I did make a change. All right. So that gives us the ability to really look at what we needed. You've got the conditional way of, you use the branching to say if this, then that. And it really gives us a lot more flexibility into what's needed. Okay? So that was our kind of our run through. I wanted to give you the highlights of all of those features that definitely are going to be out there in terms of things that we want to be able to show, and the new features that are being added. Again, like I said, twice a year, usually in the fall and in the spring, there's going to be a release. This is the fall release. 2015 is considered the fall release. So we want to get you moving on this as fast as possible so that you can be prepared for the next one that comes around. And you don't have to, some of these are going to be eventually required. You can push them out 6 months now, I think, is the limit. So you can really control it in a way that makes sense to you. If you've got a highly customized system, there's some best practices that we do recommend. You should be looking at getting a sandbox environment, which can be a duplicate of your existing environment that you can use for testing. We have some customers that are highly customized that we work with with their sandbox environments, and we will go through and do some evaluations on their code, their forms, some things to give them an idea of whether or not there's going to be any issues. I don't believe, from looking at the list of people who signed up today that are here on the call, your environments are pretty straightforward. I'm not looking, we do not expect any issues with your upgrade. We think it's going to happen quite easily. Other customers that we've got sandbox environments, we always have Microsoft upgrade the sandbox first. We do some testing. We find out what pieces of code. There's some code validation tools that we can run. I mean, there's a whole ton of stuff that we can do to help you out. But I think for the folks that are here on the phone, you should be good to go on your upgrade. If you do have any questions, don't hesitate. Again, support at XRM Cubed, and you'll get a much faster response than sending it directly to me. But please feel free. My email's right there, Ken@XRM Cubed. Again, here's some links that we've got for more information about Dynamics 2015. You can look, and you'll be able to have these links. You can certainly look at them on the screen, copy them down if you want to. I'm going to PDF this whole presentation, obviously, besides the demo. We'll send that out to you in the next day, and you should have that. Real quickly, a couple things I want to point out. We do have our CRM AdminAssist site that is controlling our tips and tricks blogs. All of our consultants are contributing to that, myself included. There's some great blog posts in there. For instance, if you go there, you'll see 5 or 6 posts related purely to Dynamics CRM 2015. One of them I call out here at the bottom here, this new business rules blog post was one that Sanford put together for us recently. And then, of course, you've got all the links there. We've got about 5 minutes, and if any of you have any questions you want to type into the GoToMeeting interface, there's a spot in there to put in some questions. I'll be happy to answer them if you've got some, if they're answerable in our session, and we can kind of take it from there. See if we've got any questions coming in. Yes. Here's a question for you. Yes, the existing business processes that you've got, the existing business rules that you've got, the existing guided process flows that you've got will not be impacted with the upgrade. So obviously I showed you a couple of new pieces that are available to you on those It doesn't negatively impact the ones that you've got today. It just gives you the ability to change those, and you will have the ability to change those later if you want to use some of the conditional branching, and you can definitely adjust as needed moving forward. But yes, your processes should be fine at the upgrade. Next question. Let's see. Yes, yes. If you have a very specific question about a piece of functionality or an entity or something that you're not sure you even want to have upgraded, you want to just get it removed and clean up your system, then yes, please, absolutely contact one of the team, support@xrmcube.com, and we'll make sure that you get some assistance in either getting that cleaned up, removed, or changed before your upgrade date. And yes, again, please don't hesitate to contact us if you'd like a little bit more assistance getting ready for your upgrade or you have additional questions. Okay, is that it? Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time today. Again, don't hesitate to contact us if you do have any questions. We'll be able to help you. Any of the team is, we work very, very hard to make sure that we're prepared and ready to go for these upgrades long before you even have to think about it. So let us know. We will make sure that you get the information that you need. Again, thank you. And I'll leave this screen up here for a few more minutes, and you'll get a copy of the PDF presentation here over the next day or two. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.